had an executive session prior to this, so we'll start this off with the pledge and move on. So, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. This is a part of the meeting that we, anybody's not on the agenda and they have something they want to talk about, bring up or discuss, now's the opportunity. Can't act on it, but we will take that under advisement for the next time. So, has anybody got anything that's not on the agenda? Good. Kevin.
Okay. First thing is for community crossing.
It's not yours now, right?
Okay. I just need you all to agree for Mike to sign any legal binding agreements and to be able to sign it outside the meetings, general meetings for CCNG grants. And Jennifer, I need a copy of that in the minutes.
Okay. I'll let you look at both of those and see if those are what you need. And there's one on the back that's me, if that'll help.
Yeah, that might work just fine. They request a copy of the minutes, but this may,
Well, I can have these minutes done and we can approve them next week. We'll be at the next Wednesday.
That'll be
fine. Good enough?
Yep.
Okay.
But we could do that, and that'll do it, I guess.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to have Mike sign these outside the meeting.
Randy makes a motion to allow me to sign outside of the meeting for the community crossing grant. Greg seconds that, and I'll make it unanimous. So you, Jennifer, you need to hold on to this.
Yeah, I can do it.
What else you got?
Do you guys want to sign that and we'll send it with Kevin just in case?
Yeah, we can do it.
Oh, the next thing is, equipment. The first thing's the mower. We've been working on for a while. I think we demoed all three of these mowers. I actually went and met with John Deere today and checked out a similar item. So we've looked at all three. As far as my opinion, this Intergreen piece of equipment or this Mower Max piece of equipment, I'm good with either one of them. I can basically just give you the, I guess, thoughts, for an investment that big is this company's in 6 countries and been in business 96. This is in 1 country and relatively new. But as far as they're getting parts and working on them and everything like that, I like both of them. That would be the only advantage I see of this one compared to this one. For me, I'm good with either one.
That's what I tried.
I haven't seen I've seen them all except for this one. So my question, does this have any other attachments?
It's got
Actually on these pages, it has attachments that'll fit on the boom mower itself. Now it isn't built like the Mower Max that has attachments in the front. It doesn't offer that.
I think you said there were like at least a dozen attachments.
Yes, it has, that has several different attachments and so does this one. But
So
we're not really looking at any extras right now.
will it hitch?
This one?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not what I would do.
Yeah, but I mean,
But it does have capability, yes.
if we was to ever need that, it will do that.
Yes.
We went down Lover's Lane the other day with it, and he was reaching way out of our,
Oh, yeah,
probably out of our jurisdiction.
Probably.
Or out of our easement, I guess. And plus I was impressed that it dropped down and mowed just like a mower.
It'll go brush to weeds.
I was worried
really easily.
It just beat them up and leave it looking scraggy, but it didn't. So
I'm sorry, guys. Mike is sharing a video of this machine with me right now. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not trying to be rude.
Actually, if I was a computer wizard, I'd throw it up there, but
Probably show you some boat in the ocean somewhere. But anyway, Greg was there for most of it. I mean, it's a very stable machine. I was pretty impressed with it. I mean, I didn't see the Mower Max, but I have seen videos of the Mower Max do the same thing, so.
Yeah, they're both equally impressive.
What
They both
concerned,
had good sales. I mean, would make me think they would be good companies, but.
well, what concerned me originally about this mower compared to the other one is that, they said that the cab swiveled with it, and that was just, to me, something else that's gonna tear the hell up.
Yeah,
so.
I agree.
And the salesman actually told me wrong.
Well, not on this model, he said the model. above
Exactly,
this.
yeah. They have a higher dollar model that
Yeah.
does that, but that one does not do that.
There's what I was talking about reaching out. And I will say this, our operator was a lot smoother operation than the guy that.
He did a lot better, didn't he?
Sent up here from Florida, so.
Yeah, the guy they sent from Florida looked like maybe he didn't have a lot of experience on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good machine, and I ran the Mower Max, and it was a good machine too, and I run the John Deere today.
You saw that. Oh, I know you. So, where are we coming, well, in a minute. So somebody did say that day if there's a different price, or, well, the salesman, not the guy from Florida, the guy from Louisville said I think we're gonna get a better price or something for 2 attachments and.
Okay, so they have a demo model that's in Florida. I'm sorry, Alabama.
Yeah.
They have a flow head, and they could also provide a.
Forced head.
Yeah, but if you just wanna say verbal quote, he thought it'd be around 204,000. But I mean, no more segments than that, and then having a demo model that's got 500 hours of unknown use. I don't see that necessarily being a great savings, but.
So you said 204,
Somewhere in that range.
and that's with just the one head, the
Yeah.
flail head? So what are the prices now since we've kind of went away from?
So the Evergreen with the flail head mower, that's what it comes with, is 224, 919.36. And then the Mower Max with the swivel head, because we figured out we needed that when we went and demoed it, was 233,662.75. And then.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
$233,662.75. And then the John Deere with a,
that's Mower Max.
yeah, Mower Max. And then the John Deere with a, Tiger mower attached to it is 200,655.52.
Can you give that number again, Kevin?
Yeah, $200,655.52.
52?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where would the purchase be coming from?
Where the companies are located,
The line item
we're asking for our money.
for here.
Yeah.
And what was the price of this one?
224,
919.36.
yeah.
And that's with the flail head?
Yeah, that's the machine we see. Same machine.
Well, actually, the only difference would be is those had flotation tires on them, and the other one had straight.
Yeah, we
tires.
could get straight tires, which I think is what we would want, since that's where we want.
That's
where we
the
want.
only thing I didn't like is how it rocked a little bit, but that was because of the flotation and the
Well,
tires.
and anything you get out 30 feet, they'll do that to them. That's what it comes with, which is pretty much what you've seen, or it is what you've seen.
That's 135 horse, Dukes. I think that's how you call it, Dukes or Dukes or
Deutz or something like that.
Deutz.
So this has the leveling.
Yes, has a roller on.
Oh, the leveling on the body. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you right now, I don't know about that.
I'm not seeing it.
Is it on the body?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the body row.
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that has that or not.
Explain.
Just like a law forklift, if you're on unstable ground,
He said.
you can move the body, you can roll the body over to adjust
The counter
for the weight.
adjust.
We asked about that, he said
I can't
we could
remember
put
that.
beet juice and
Oh,
tires.
and the tires for,
Yeah,
yeah.
but he said we usually,
But I mean, I feel like that would probably, if we was going off-road with it, you know what I mean, that would probably be a lot
Well, I mean,
more needed, but,
I mean, how stable was it when it was all the way out? That's my concern.
oh, it was stable.
it was fine.
Yeah, it was stable. And I was reaching out. I wanna say I was 30-foot machine I had there, I think. It was a long way
It was
out.
24 foot is what's it on the bed.
Even with the extension that rolled out,
No, I won't say that, cause it did go out.
it was a pretty big machine.
But he said they make those up
But
to,
it wasn't leaning or nothing.
No.
whatever it was.
he said they make them up to a 50-foot boom. But
Yeah, they make several different sizes.
we don't need that.
No, what we've seen is their competition to this.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have sky's the limit machine, but this is their answer to this
to
machine.
what we were looking for.
Yeah, yeah, more like that. Like I said, I'm good, I'm satisfied with either machine. The flail head, I think is probably a little bit higher maintenance head, but with the capabilities of mulching all the stuff up and not dropping big limbs in the ditch, it's probably worth the maintenance on it.
It's not a
Rotary cutter.
Rotary.
This is a rotary cutter, but you can put any head on this too, so there's options there.
What I like is it keeps all the debris, you know,
in the
Yeah.
ditch.
front and back. I mean, it doesn't throw it.
It don't throw it like a rotary
Cause
mower.
I can remember back in the day, I mean, I've hit riprap and shot it, you know,
Yeah.
100 feet.
Well, also, if you have to
Don't-
replace the blades on that, it's $1,200 to replace all the blades.
Yeah.
And he said they've got machines out there with 5 years on them that they've never replaced them. So he said, if they start wearing, you can actually unbolt them and flip them over and go the other way.
Yeah, that's all on the operator too. If the operator hits a bridge embankment, don't wear the blades up. If it keeps it out of that, you don't wear the blades up.
I guarantee you.
I mean, that's maintenance, right?
That's maintenance, yeah.
So,
And if you look at it like this, as far as the head goes, flail maintenance compared to rotary maintenance, you know, I think we just put $4,000 in the head of the Massey, you know, and it's got 2,000 hours on the machine, but it's just wear parts. I mean, it was all worn out. It was time to rebuild it, and it'll about be good for another 2,000.
so what comments, Greg?
No, I mean, it's impressive, piece of machinery. It's, to be honest, after looking at some of the other prices that we've seen, some of the traditional tractors and trying to, make them, and equip them to be side mounts, they're really not. These machines is obviously built for this kind of work.
I ran the John Deere today. It's a great machine.
It's a tractor.
It's half of what the equipment is. I mean, as far as the speed and the capabilities of it, I mean, as far as the money difference on it, ain't much anymore.
And that's the other thing I'm looking at here too, is, there's not a tremendous amount of savings, and not taking advantage of, getting a piece of equipment that can run up and down the road. And it's, you know, we've got these heads that's designed to, we can go out and mow and take care of brush at the same time. And
I
stay
think
on
it,
the road, that's the biggest thing, I think, you know, is our operator being able to stay on the road and take care of the ditches, so without having to take up a lane and a half.
Both of these have capabilities of staying in their lane and still do their job. So that's the biggest advantage compared to one of the bigger advantages compared to a traditional side by mower.
Well, to me, the biggest difference is, I think this is, I want you to see this take off here. Is that one of them's about $10,000 cheaper than that one.
It is.
And the one that's $10,000 cheaper than the other one has been in business for a long time. So,
They've been in the United States for 6 years. They've been in business since '96. They also make a lot of different product lines. They have steep bank mowers, remote control mowers, stuff like that.
And the Kentucky Department of Transportation just ordered 5 of them, so.
well, Florida's, he said that Florida, ordered 10, and they're ordering 10 more, so.
And this, the Mower Max is owned by an individual, one person. Good or bad, your all's call. But, I mean, it's not like it's an impressive facility. It's not a fly-by-night by any sort.
No, I get that. Randy, what are you thinking?
I've looked at, what, 4 of these now?
Yeah.
Together.
And we've rolled a few of them out,
Yeah.
through calling, people that own them and
I've looked at the Savage, I've looked at the Mower Max, I've looked at the
Manus.
Manus. Just watching it, I wish I'd have got to see this one. But I couldn't. I like the way the heads or the booms hooked up on this.
I
I
will
like the way
say,
that,
the boom, appearance-wise on that, the boom itself, it does have a 5-year warranty on the actual boom itself. And the boom looks heavier duty, as this one touched more on the tractor side. That's not saying it is heavier duty, but by eye it is.
I know that the Mower Max is a very nice machine also, and it's severely overbuilt. But I like the way this one's set up, because you can actually, with that flail head, it looks like to me you could actually position that thing real close to where you could see what you're getting ready to hit right before you hit it. To where the Mower Max with that 5-foot head, by the time you get it out there, you could accidentally run over something that you didn't see.
And that was one thing, Daryl, who operated it, and Kevin, who was watching, commented on, was the size of the head was nice, because you could see, when you get this up into the bushes or inside the road, it's 6 foot, and this blinds really what you're cutting.
Right.
But you could really see what he was cutting, so they like that part of it.
I don't know, I'm leaning toward this.
I physically haven't seen the Mower Max. I know somebody that runs it or knows people that are running it. Isn't that the one that's in Seymour?
No, it's the
Savage
Manus,
is in Seymour.
the Manus in
Manus?
Seymour,
Well,
which, like I said, I called references from all the places. Seymour had just got that one, but I called companies that owned them and other municipalities that had owned them for a while, and they did not get good reviews. A lot of breakdowns. They're twice as impressive, but they had a lot of breakdowns. The Mower Max had good reviews on durability and keeping them on, and so did that one.
And DOTs are using both now, I mean, so.
Yeah, they're all going that direction. It's just
well,
when they
I
get
think
there.
that's the one I actually saw in Alabama when I was
Probably
driving
is.
down the road, and I almost stopped because I was like, I've never seen anything like that. And it was running probably 30 miles an hour mowing.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
I'm gonna say like that man is by far out of everything we've seen, is that, like you said, it's absolutely the most impressive
It is.
machine, but it's got so much stuff on it that
it's always breaking.
it's always gonna, there's gonna be issues that we cannot fix with it.
And even this machine is a more stripped down version of this machine as
That
far as
machine there.
electronics. There's no LCD touchscreens or anything, it's all just switches and,
Which makes me like it
yeah,
much better.
so.
I just was gonna ask, are we talking about three different companies that
Three different machines that do kind of the same
kind of the same
capabilities.
thing? But one of them is kind of drastically different if I'm.
Yeah, but it's not comparing,
We don't have that price on that one up here,
Okay,
cause it was actually, I think,
so I'll just say that,
Oh, man.
the purchasing laws for something like this would require us to take the lowest responsible and responsive bid.
Which is probably where I'm going anywhere.
yeah, that's what we're going to.
I'm not sure, because.
Well, on a like material,
Like material.
cause the one
So,
200.
That's
these
what-
two are
that's
like
what I'm trying to-
Tractor,
yeah, that's what I'm trying to
side
say.
bin mower.
The, I wanna make sure that I have this right, cause in my notes, we did sealed bids opened on February 15th, is that's still right? Correct? And then did we reject and?
We tabled it because they were gonna bring in a demo, and we wanted to see the demo, cause there was a new player in the
So
game.
all we did was table it. And then the total amount on the three amounts were, you read them off earlier, but I just didn't.
yeah. For the Intergreen is $224,919.36. And then on the Mower Max is $233,662.75. And then I brought another piece of equipment if we didn't wanna go this way to go this way. But it's a cheaper bid, but it's not comparable.
It's a tractor with a side mount.
Was that one submitted as a sealed bid?
Yes.
Yeah, the same as the, okay, just.
Yep.
To me, you know, we're taking, if you go the John Deere route, you're taking a field tractor and you're making it do something that it really wasn't designed for, but it can do.
Well, the story,
With this thing, this is what it was made to do from the get-go.
well, the backstory I'm hearing on the Evergreen is that, from the salespeople, is that John Deere tried to get the franchise for that, and they didn't get it.
Yeah.
That's probably the best thing for them.
But, so anyway, so what's your guys' pleasure? I know we beat this thing around for 6 months probably, on a tractor and a mower and everything else going back and forth, and
Well, I'd like to, what do you think, Greg?
I like from a customer service standpoint, I felt a little bit more comfortable with them guys. They're not far away, and they were willing to come down or come up in this case, with any issues that we may have, so I felt that there was a level of comfort there for me. What do you think?
I believe customer service on both of them is gonna be outstanding. From the references I called, both of them were outstanding. The only thing that will separate them from me is that one's been in business a long time. That one hasn't. That's really the only difference I would go. And that was $10,000 cheaper, almost $10,000.
And I did ask that question, why they didn't come to the United States until now, and they said that they wanted to have their infrastructure here before they brought it here.
The $224,919 and change, is that for the new machine?
New machine.
Okay.
They talked about being able to shelf certain parts anyway down there at their shop, so.
They have a warehouse out of Tampa, the same thing Mower Max does. Obviously, Brown will keep their wear parts
Right.
in stock, but there'll be some parts that have to come from Tampa.
What?
So, there was just a guardrail.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you guys wanna do? Cause I think, you know, and it's hard to, get people to understand this day and age of where technology's coming to where these are mowing machines and DOTs are buying them, like I said, the state of Florida's bought 10 of these and buying 10 more, and the state of Kentucky's bought 5, and I'm sure once they use them more, they're gonna be using them more.
South Carolina about 250.
So, we've had, I won't say we've had good luck, but I guess as old as our tractors and side mounts are, as old as they are, I guess they've outlived their, you know, as much repair as we can put in them. And we're starting to spend more money on them than, you know, we're doing good, so I'm gonna entertain a motion to, because it's not just because it's the lowest bid, but I think it's the better machine. I'm gonna entertain a motion to buy or purchase or go to send to council to purchase the Evergreen for $224,919.36.
I'll second that motion.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, I made the motion, Randy seconds it, and Greg makes that unanimous, so.
Peanuts.
I guess we'll send it to the council to appropriate the money out of
Give
ARPA.
that to John back there.
And I drafted a resolution, where I just, now that you've approved the price, I'd like to get it printed off, it's sent to your email. We can just, make sure we've got a resolution number, and it describes the purposes allowable under ARPA, why this qualifies, as well as the purchasing methods that were used to arrive at a reasonable price, and that the whole thing is contingent upon council appropriating sufficient funds.
Yep. Sounds good.
There's one thing I wanna say real quick, cause I just want to be clear, you know, what we're doing. We're requesting to purchase this equipment out of ARPA funds, which is money that was given to us that we have to spend, or we have to give it back. And we're trying to do this, you know, for the highway department, to give the people of this community the equipment they want and deserve to have, with money that does not come out of their local tax budget whatsoever and will not affect them.
Well, I'd like to kind of echo that a little bit, because if you all remember, we've had that one tractor with the mower in the shop probably for a year, and we were way behind mowing last year, and if it's not for a pothole, I got more calls about not mowing and why we weren't mowing and whatnot. So, and I know our commercial mowing, or we're gonna attempt that this year, but I don't know how that's gonna work out. And even with that we only, I guess, have that contract mowing for 2 times a year, and we're probably gonna mow at least 3 times, if not more. So we're gonna see how that works out this year anyway, so, but anyway, so, do you have a resolution number?
Number 8.
8? Yeah, number 8. So, since we've already voted on this, I'm gonna go back a little bit and say that.
We accepted the bid for sure, and I think the motion did include a use of ARPA funds. I just want to be clear that this would be the
Resolution 8.
the resolution kind of
Okay, so
executing that.
go ahead and adopt it by the board of the commissioners today, what is today, 26th of April.
So that's 3,
So I think we would need to do an advertisement for additional appropriation for the next, council meeting or as soon as we could. I don't know if we could get it on before the next.
I don't think we can get our 10 days in before.
But, so we wanna make sure that the bids stay
Yeah,
valid.
I think they're good for 30 days. But, more than likely, it'd be a simple phone call and they'll extend it out.
Okay.
So what else you got?
I brought the chip equipment to you that we opened up and tabled. This goes around right to the same motion. I guess the only thing I'll say about the chip equipment is this will pay the county back through the years. So, you know, on our sealed bids, the only company that we had bid this particular equipment, since it is niche equipment, was Southeastern Equipment Company, which is kind of a major player in these things. So as far as the distributor goes, $253,200. A chip spreader is $404,250. And
For what?
$404,250. And a pneumatic roller is $99,175. We did get another bid for the roller, but this one's $11,000 cheaper.
Is it after? the
No,
day
it was sealed.
Acceptance of bids,
No, it was sealed the last time.
so
Got it.
you got an additional bid
No, it came in with these.
with them.
But it's
Okay.
the only thing we got 2 bids on. This company bid on the same roller. They didn't bid on the other equipment, but they bid on a roller.
Okay,
But they're $10,000 higher.
okay.
What was the distributor bid?
$253,200.
I'm sorry, Kevin, how much was the roller?
$99,175.
You know, $75.
199,000.
No, $99,175.
Okay.
Save you $100,000.
And the chip distributor was 404,
250.
Yep.
250.
Yep.
So is that all? Is that,
That's your base right
is that
there.
everything we need to be in business?
The only other piece of equipment you need is a broom, which you own already.
And I've asked this question before. With,
Where would this purchase be coming from?
Art money.
this, with,
Okay, so, what was the date that the bids were open?
it's a couple meetings ago.
March 15th.
That sounds right.
Wednesday at 10 o'clock at Highway Department, March 15th. We got a legal advertisement.
I think that's,
I think that's right.
I'm not getting no service with this. It's March 15th on Wednesday.
yep.
Yeah, it was March 15th.
Right.
So the question I know I've asked before with the community crossing grants in the future, road preservation, and this is what this is with chip sealing, is what the state's pushing, is that correct?
Oh, yeah. The CCMG has several opportunities for preservation work, all the way from crack sealing to chip and seal to, a lot of rejuvenation. They had Liquid Road, that's what we done last year. They have a laundry list of preservation that would qualify in there. You know, it can be used for that, definitely.
And I know you, in the beginning, and I'm just trying to
throw all the information out there. In the beginning, you brought a PowerPoint presentation that showed us by using chip seal and preserving our roads, we're getting X amount of more years out of our roads before we're having to.
Off the top of my head, I think it's, and this is roadresource.org, which is a good resource, there's a lot of municipalities use it. I think it was $2 and I wanna say roughly 30 cents a square yard chip seal cost. And at that time, full retail paving was around $7 a square yard cost, so.
And I would say it's more than that.
I'm sure it is,
Yeah.
but that on road resource, that's a good tool to judge.
I was always told before, was that a mile of road is about $45,000 to $50,000 to pave it, and it's about $10,000 to chip seal it.
So a mile of road right now, I can tell you exactly how much it's gonna cost us. You're probably looking more in county level, all our labor, in a $95,000 range.
For
1 mile road, 2-inch overlay.
pave?
Yeah.
95, that's us doing it?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Now, that's including our labor, our fuel, our materials, you know.
So the chip spreader and what was the other piece of equipment?
Distributor and pneumatic roller.
So,
In our reality, a contractor can almost pay cheaper than what we can because of the speed of it.
you said that before.
So community crossings, I mean, it's out there for us to do. We can continue to pay, we can continue to do these things, but the benefit with going in preservation is to stretch those dollars that we're getting matched for. So, we've gotta get to a level where we are stretching preservation. Because we're not going to continue to get the bang for the buck on trying to pave every road. At some point, we gotta stretch the value of what we've spent in that investment. So, however it is, and I know Kevin's looked into some other, cost-effective type methods, with this, liquid road and some of these other things that we've tried.
We did some rejuvenation last year, we're gonna do a little this
That's
year.
not cheap either, right?
None of it's cheap.
So, but this is probably the most cost-effective method that we can start stretching out. And let's face it, we've got a number of roads that have a low volume on it that we can be able to get. We could maybe stretch maybe close to 10 years on some of these low volume roads.
By one chip seal.
Well, and that's where I was going, cause there was a couple of roads in my district that, if we weren't gonna pave it, then we might as well just gravel it back over and call it gravel. I mean, but, because, taking out the potholes, I mean, it's not travel enough to warrant, $90,000 or $98,000 a mile of pavement. So, but anyway.
Well, even like you take low volume state roads like 250 or 39, for instance. Those roads, we would expect to get 5 or 6 years just from a state highway, a low volume state highway. So we take a low volume county road, that we can maintain for 10 years without making another investment in it. It's pretty significant.
I mean, in all reality, there's just a few counties that's not doing it.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
I mean, we're coming up tail end, if I was gonna tell you the truth.
And I know chip seal gets a bad rap, from some of the ways that it used to be done, but, and Greg, I mean, the state highway now is doing this constantly, like you just said, on state roads, right?
I've seen them chip
Well,
certain
31.
shoulders on 65 in some areas. Now, I mean, those were just, some experiment areas, I guess, if you will. But I mean, there was a time that we wouldn't touch 31, now we're on 31. There's a time we wouldn't touch 50, and we chip seal 50. So, it's come a long way, and there's an art to it too. I mean,
Well, technology's changed too. I mean, so.
and we're getting better at it, and I think everybody around the state is starting to do this in all ways, so. It's expensive, and anytime that you're dealing with, oil, that's, you just can't predict what those prices are gonna be,
Right.
so.
So what's your thoughts, what you guys wanna do? I know we've opened these, as he said, in March, we kinda beat around,
I'd like to make a motion to go ahead and purchase these out of our, and send it to the council and.
well, I will say this, and we're talking about ARPA money. We have to choose how to spend the ARPA money before, and I'm thinking it's for the end of the year. We don't have
By 2024, it must be allocated,
spent.
and you must have a plan for its use, you must spend it by the end of 2026.
So, we got a few months here that we need to, spend it or give it back to Joe. So Randy makes a motion to buy a distributor, a spreader, and a roller for, if my math is right, $756,625.
$756,625.
$625.
Any change in there, or?
Nope, not that I have. They don't charge tax on that.
Then, again, same situation,
Be on.
we'll do
Number
a
9.
resolution at that number.
8 or 9.
This will be 9.
Lost all the numbers.
And if I had it right, Kevin, it's a chip spreader and then a distributor and a pneumatic roller.
That's correct. And let me verify my numbers. 256, 200 for the distributor, 404, 250 for the spreader, and 99, 175.
Distributor, $253,200. Roller, not,
200.
yeah, roller, $99,175. Chip spreader, $404,250.
I think my numbers are wrong. So, Randy makes a motion to buy the chip seal equipment using ARPA money for $756,625. What's your thoughts?
I can't think of another way, a better way to invest our money, other than our infrastructure with this. Every taxpayer's a benefit of, good roads, and, I just want to point out, we did talk about leasing versus buying as well.
Yeah.
And, there's just not a big appetite out there to, lease a lot of this equipment. So,
Especially these particular pieces, like the Traco, something like that. There's a lot of options. These pieces of equipment are a pretty niche market.
especially an old distributor, yeah.
Really,
So,
no distributor.
So I'll second.
All right, Randy makes a motion, Greg seconds that, and I'll make that unanimous again. It's, probably the biggest piece of machinery we probably bought, or a set of equipments that's gonna benefit the county more than, we'd ever thought of. I would never have thought that we pave over 150 miles of roads, with blacktop, let alone now with this piece of machinery, we could probably preserve some of those roads and chip seal a lot of other roads that probably chip seal will be all they ever need.
So in reality, we're working on the mapping system for the preservation right now. Andrew's helped us set up the theater and screens and everything for it. But in reality, I'm thinking like 10% per year on chip seal preservation, so 30 to 40 miles per year, which is a pretty tall order with 12 guy crew, so we'll see how those first couple, I'm not saying the first years, but we'll have to see how that goes. But
Well, I have a question, since you made a comment a minute ago about the paving versus letting other people pave.
Mhm.
If that's the case, I mean,
could we sell our paver, make anything?
Here, I guess here would be my opinion on that, is the hit's done. I mean,
We own it, don't we?
you own it, yeah, but now after you take the hit of the depreciation of the machine, it's nice to have a paver to do small projects, because do I think you get better prices by going out and paving 10 or 12 miles of road in Dable Mayor or some big name company come in and knock it out in 6 hours? Sure, 100% you're gonna get better prices. Going out and paver patching, say Mallard Point, or, we're gonna do some paver patching out there. Well, now that gets, the cost comparison on that's a little different, because a couple dump trucks comes out and does it. Now, am I saying we need the particular paver we have for such a thing? No. But we have it, so is it worth taking the hit on it and then buying another used one or something? Probably not.
Well, I wanna add something to
So
that.
I don't wanna say we don't want a paver, because it is a very nice machine to have.
From a contractor's point of view, if, and talking about, something like this, if you have your own paver and I'm putting in a bid for what I'm gonna do for you, I'm gonna keep that bid under control a little bit better if I know that you have a paver and it's too high, you're gonna do it yourself. If I know you don't have a paver, I'm not worried about throwing that dollar amount out there,
So,
to take,
I mean,
to your point.
I think probably give me this year, maybe ask that question again. This year we went through and we got annual bids for pavement, so we got some really good prices at like $60 a ton, which is cheap. Also got annual bids for delivery to our paver, meaning Mac will bring the asphalt to our paver. So then maybe a 4-man crew's out there paving and they're bringing the asphalt to you. So let me compare them numbers. Them numbers might come out and make a lot more sense. But putting 7 or 8 single axles and driving 40 miles one way on a road don't work too well.
yeah, and that's why I don't want folks to think we're gonna quit paving.
Yeah, we're not quitting paving.
No, I mean, we're just trying to take care of what we got, take
We're
care
gonna-
of the investment that we have. Chip and seal's still a great performance-based value,
Yeah.
for the roads, and so those are things that I think, we'll start stretching our dollars in preservation, and that's where we need to do. And it's a lot of money up front, but, I agree with Kevin, it's gonna save a lot of money over time.
With that on paper in front of me, I think we plan at a local budget around 10 miles that we're gonna do. And then to the community crossing, we'll bid out. I sure can't remember miles off the top of my head, but we'll just bid out because it covers all the costs completely across the board. It's 100% the only way to go on community crossing money.
And as far as dump trucks go, I mean, our dump trucks are in really good shape. They don't need to be replaced or nothing. But on the other hand, when back years ago, a few years back, whenever they was purchased those dump trucks, single axle dump trucks should have never been purchased. I mean, they just don't haul enough to,
No, they're light duty.
Well, and the other thing too
it's
is.
too many trips.
When Kevin's weighing out the cost of doing in-house or, contracting out on some of this paving, we just don't know what the appetite's gonna be at certain times. A lot of these contractors have been spoiled here lately where they've been picking and choosing what they wanna do because there's been so much work throughout the state. I think we could get to a point where we start seeing a little more cost favorability. And there could be times where there could be more value in just contracting a whole lot.
There's times,
Yeah.
there's times to look at different things, for
So
sure.
we'll keep.
All right, I'm gonna run, we talked about the semi last time. And I'm not sure how this used equipment, how the bid process is. It's hard to bid used equipment because every one of them is different hours, mileage, so on and so forth. I think Ryder has the semi I told you about for $35,495, around a 500,000 mile semi. But, it's got all the documents on where they service it its whole life. We drove it, seems to be a good truck, but we're basically asking for a $35,000 semi to pull a $45,000 trailer sitting down there, so. Right now, we have nothing to move the payroll with, or nothing to move a chipper with, or nothing to move anything that weighs substantial amount of weight. So, there it is. And I do wanna note, I ask this in my budget every year for mowing equipment, for chip equipment, and the highway gets no money for equipment. And the reality is the highway runs off equipment. So, that's why we're gonna ask for it while it's here.
So what was that then again, 35?
Yeah.
Let me do some checking on that, I
Okay,
mean,
and that's not a big deal.
and I know that's Ryder, and I'm gonna reach out to some friends of mine from Penske and see what if they got some, cause they do the same thing.
Sure. And then, they got 20 of the same trucks, so it's just
Oh, I
kinda
know.
one of them, pick it out and go.
I knew Ryder did, and I know, that's why I asked you to go look, cause I know they service some, UPS leased trucks through Penske for years, and at a certain mileage they pull them, so they can resell them, so. Anything else?
Just one bid for the, Challenger tractor that we have. Right now has a brush cutter on the side of it. We looked at just putting a side mount mower on this machine. It's gonna be around 35,000, just take the boom mower off and just put a side mount on it. The boom mower that's on it, it's probably good to go around a farmer's field once a year, but it's not gonna be good for the highway department, so. It's not necessarily have to do it now, but, the highway department's never funded it because there's no funds there to be funded, so.
Oh, I get it. You're the most abused department probably around.
We agree.
So, I mean, you wanna go ahead and bring that to a vote?
It's, well, I can just kinda tell you where you're at. So, I think it's good to have a backup, right?
I think we need the 3 tractors
Uh,
to mow.
Yeah, so that puts us to three, if we get that other bid, it puts us at 3 good pieces of equipment. Right now, I got a side mount mounted on the old military tractor, which is 1989. It's running today, this week. See what happens next week. That's all I can tell you on it. I can't make no promises, I can just tell you it's running this week.
So the John Deere that we had in the shop for a year, and it was costing us $20,000 about every time we took it someplace. It's sold and gone, correct?
Right.
The Challenger has what is that,
Boom mower.
the rear mounted,
No, it actually has a side
okay, that's.
brush cutter
Yes.
on it. It has a lot of troubles, and truthfully, the other machine would take merit over that.
So is this 35,000, is that Tiger?
It's Diamond.
A Diamond.
The manufacturer of the boom mower that is on the Challenger even made the statement that they made that too flimsy.
Yeah, I mean, it is
Of
what
course,
it
you
is.
know,
It was put out and
it's 10 years old, beyond warranty, so they can say that now.
There was only one bid received, you said?
yeah, it's kind of, once again, kind of a niche piece of equipment. I reached out to a few companies and they said they was gonna bid, but this is the only one to come back with an actual.
Was it
with
closed
a quote.
bid?
I'm sorry, it's a quote. It's only 34,000, so.
Okay, so these were just quotes that you did?
I said bid, but it's just quote.
Okay. I'm just trying to.
I hear you, because it's under that threshold, right? It's under the 50, so we can just do.
It is actually under the requirement for state law for quoting.
Okay.
Quoting is 50 to 150, bidding is more than 150. But I think the commissioners have indicated that they like quoting even small purchases.
Yeah. So, but there's not we can just table that and I can get a sealed bid, but I'm just gonna be honest with you, if you're gonna put legal advertisements out and there's nobody gonna bid it but this guy because there's Didn't nobody bid it.
How many weeks
I
out,
was-
Kevin, is that?
So this is what he told me on this. They have 90% of the pieces in stock, but there is some pieces they're gonna have to wait on to get. And he's thinking 2 to 3 months to get some other pieces. Now, with that being said, this wasn't as easy as just calling and saying, here's a tractor I got. Can you give me this mower? I had to go out and take measurements and pictures so they can make sure they can put it on a particular
Marry it up.
tractor, that all the pieces didn't interchange and so on, so. There's some legwork to it as far as just getting quotes and bids. You can't just put out, I need a mower for this tractor, and there it is, you know.
Well, I'm gonna say this, you have a Challenger tractor that's got 2,000 hours on it,
We do.
and, which is still a really good tractor. But last summer, we couldn't run down the road with it without tearing up on it constantly. So it's a waste of equipment if we cannot use it, hop in it and use it every single day. And if $35,000 keeps it out there and mowing where it should, and we get the use of the tractor, I think it's a no-brainer.
Get that.
I've said this before, you know, you are the one department that everybody in this county, 100% gets the use of your department.
Right.
You benefit everybody in Scott County, every single day. And even the future taxpayers who's not even driving yet. So,
Well, they're on a school bus.
they're on a school bus. So,
Well,
I mean,
that-
it's
you know-
hard to not justify
That's just kind of laying it out there.
letting you have the equipment you need.
The master tractor, or that tractor and the brush hog that's on it, it is what it is, it ain't much. Can we piece it back together, $500 or $600 a week and put it back out there and mow? Sure can. Kinda whatever.
So you said 2 to 3 months for him to get all the parts?
He's thinking they have 90% of it in, there's a few parts, is how he quoted to me, that they gotta order, and that'll be, that part. So, I mean, that's not a huge deal.
Did you reach out to at least 3
Yeah.
entities?
So how far are we out on the agreement?
They're telling me end of June, July, I think they'll have their 2 new ones in. Mower Max is, well, we've already bought them, but they're 6 months out. This guy's thinking they'll get those parts out on that in a couple months. But, you know,
And the longer we delay on this, like everything else, the more costs are gonna go up.
and that's us taking the boom mower off, the other mower off, taking it to them and all that. Which,
Can,
doable.
we have a meeting next week, can we table this till next week?
Yep.
What the-
I'll just say this on that tractor, I think it's either put another mower on it or sell the whole 9 yards.
And I agree with you, that's why.
And look for maybe another used tractor with a mower on it, but I think what Randy's bringing up is a good tractor.
It is a
It
good
is a good tractor, it's only got 2,000 hours on it,
And
and
we bought
I
it,
wouldn't wanna walk away from it.
Right,
when we bought it, it didn't have too much of anything on it, cause it was an old farmer that bought it and then retired and sold it at an auction.
I just don't wanna get behind, you know, and that's what I was thinking of, if you take the old army tractor out there, you know, and it gets
Well,
on the
that's-
road and it's done, and here we are, and then,
Well, but when is the Brown comes
first
up?
Monday of May, I think so.
So he ought to be mowing.
No, I'm sorry, the last Monday of May. That's-
First of June.
Yes,
Yeah.
last Monday.
And he has to be done in the first cut by when? It's like 3 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head, something like that.
Okay. So what's your pleasure? I mean, sounds like,
$35,000 to save a 2,000 hour tractor, no brainer. That's why.
so, I'll entertain a motion to give him the 35. or go to the council with the 35.
I'll make that
Can I
motion.
see the,
I'll make that motion.
is this also for ARPA?
Yeah, you not seen my budget, we couldn't buy a drill.
Good. Actually, I'm gonna say something about that when, and this is counterproductive, but when the state of Indiana handed back checks to every taxpayer in the state of Indiana because they had surplus, I was like, are you even thinking about the county highway garages that during COVID couldn't draw the first dang cent a dollar because people were told to stay home and all your money comes from fuel tax. So on one hand, they tell everybody to stay home, they don't use their cars, pay fuel tax, so the county highway garages can continue to have money in their, for their budget, and then they turn around and hand money back to everybody in the state, just as a good, you know, a feel-good type of thing, when they could have funded, 92 county highway garages, so.
What kind
You know,
of mowing?
I like to piggyback.
A diamond.
I'd like to piggyback on what you just said. You know, Scott County does not have a lot of people in Scott County works outside the county because, you know, better jobs, whatever, you know. And then when that happens, a lot of times they buy fuel in the county that they're working in.
When do you receive the?
They play the, you know, where am I gonna get my best price for fuel?
We'll have a date on.
So when they do that,
On top of
that
it.
takes money away from the county road system.
Well,
And there's just no other way to get this equipment that
Yeah.
he needs without
The
doing
days
this,
and then
without
just
raising
bring it
taxes
on.
one way or another, and this is,
I agree. I mean,
this is the only way we can purchase it.
I
You
paid,
sign that paper, that CCMG paper.
I think I might have it.
she
David.
has
If you
I,
want, you just scan it to me if
You
you
want
want
to
to, if
scan
you
and
want
send
that copy,
It
yeah.
doesn't
I paid-
matter. I don't wanna know that.
I paid Jefferson County, Kentucky taxes for 20 years and
Did
didn't
you,
live there,
is today the first day where you?
Yeah.
purchased?
just cause I worked there.
Right,
That I received the quote.
and if you're there and you're out of
You have to
fuel,
send the
you buy
invitation
fuel.
out at least 7 days before
So if you're wanting to do something to this,
consider it, so I'm just trying to get a date for when you sent it versus when we're taking action on it.
No, I mean, I started this a month and a half ago, probably. I'm trying to get a quote
April
for this.
5th was when he
Yeah.
actually created that sense.
Yeah.
vote on this and send it along with the rest of it.
I'll second.
So Randy's made a motion to give him the county highway garage $35,000 for another mower to put on the Challenger, to replace the mower we have, so
Using ARPA funds.
using ARPA. So Randy's made a motion, Greg seconds that, and I'll make that unanimous, so. Merry Christmas.
Alright, thanks.
Same thing, I'll do
That'd be
I've
10.
got a resolutions.
Resolution number 10,
So when's council meeting?
The ninth.
Well, in order to do.
Yeah, we'll have to get
We'll have to advertise it
Be
though,
next
yes.
month.
We're probably talking June.
Probably June,
June.
probably the June meeting, yeah.
June,
Because even if I got that in today, it won't go into next Wednesday, which would be, I think, the 3rd.
go through twice.
And then you've gotta go, yeah. So it's gotta go 10 days.
So June when?
Be June 13th, isn't it? Second,
It'll be the second Tuesday, I'm not sure.
13th,
June 13th
yeah.
at 5:30.
5:30, yeah, there's ball. All right, next, that was a long, drawn out thing there. Second thing on the agenda here.
Sorry, Jerry, we have no money left.
Amanda Hurt, grant application request and signature sheet. I've got something here. Is this what is from the judges?
That is, yeah, that was the permission to sign. You were sent a copy of the grant. And then here's a sheet that she needs you to sign.
I'll
To
go ahead
work
and
this
read
through?
this. And this is from the Scott County Community Corrections. It says, to the Indiana Department of Corrections on April the 26th, Scott County Community Corrections Advisory Board reviewed the 2024 IDOC grant presented by Director Amanda Hurt. The funding would be used for current programming at the Scott County Community Corrections and to expand grant fund for an existing position for a pretrial case manager that is being paid for by the project income currently. The advisory board voted to submit the 2024 IDOC grant for the amount of $465,294 to the Indiana Department of Corrections for funding consideration, and it's signed by Jason Mount, Chris Owens, so.
I'm looking you guys to sign that.
So, with that, exactly what it is here is just us approving the grant request. So, I'll entertain a motion to sign this, all three of us.
I'll make that motion.
Randy makes a motion to approve the request by the Department of Corrections. Greg?
I'll second.
Greg seconds that, and I'll make that unanimous. So. Moving along, Nick.
Two things. One is I would like to, ask Scott County Community Foundations for a grant, and I need your permission to do so.
What was the grant be? Is that for the? Oh, this is for the paramedicine thing? So,
It's us going after 4 pieces of equipment for it and the service.
supplying, cause I thought when the lady came here, they were supplying all this stuff, is that correct? Not
This
correct?
is for the ambulance side of things. This grant request is for our ambulances. She's going to take care of the community paramedicine side of things. So this is for the ambulances that we have.
So what kind of equipment are we talking about?
They're called iStats, so what they are is they're,
Is that what Washington County got?
I don't know, I didn't get
We were talking about it one time that they got something put
I
on.
think they got them, but I don't know that they ever rolled them out.
Okay, cause they got them through a grant, a little.
They went through their local community foundations, and I'm not sure if that's one we were talking about. So, yeah, looks like a old car phone, essentially, a big screen, like green screen, and, you take the same amount of blood as you would with a glucose test strip and put it in a cartridge, and it can give us live troponins, CMPs, CBCs, VUNs, creatines, and all that kind of stuff to either look for non-STEMIs, which are heart attacks, which is the same thing as a STEMI, which just minus the rhythm change. If they're septic, and allow us to treat a little more aggressively and take people to the appropriate facilities depending on what's going on.
So all you're asking us for is approval to.
Go to them, correct?
You apply for a grant through community, correct? Or through
Community foundations.
Foundation.
Yes, sir.
What's your guys' thought?
I'm like, Mike, I mean, I'm alright with you going to them, but I honestly thought that,
This is not for community paramedicine. This is for the ambulances, the ones that we own.
well, let me read this because I don't understand what's going on with the ambulances.
I'm trying to put, okay, so I have a community paramedicine vehicle that they bought, right? We're putting one of these pieces of equipment in that they are buying. I'm asking for the same pieces of equipment to put on my ambulances. I want to go ask for money to put them on my ambulances.
He's not asking us for the money, he's asking to apply for a grant for it.
We can take it out of ARPA if we want, then we can not go apply for a grant.
But I mean, is this something
Never mind.
we're approaching into purchase just because of this new program that we're in?
No.
Okay.
It's,
Okay, that's what I really want.
yeah, that's actually what I was getting at in the beginning. But you're saying it's a specialized piece of equipment that
Okay.
you're,
Washington County has it.
I know, that's.
Washington County doesn't have community paramedicine.
but they went to a local organization.
Correct.
And asked for a grant money, and they gave it to them, and they bought it, so
I guess.
I think it's all right.
But yeah, I mean, if this is what Washington County has, that's fine, but they don't have community paramedicine, so that would show right there that that's, like, it's not just a community paramedicine thing.
Okay.
So I'll entertain a motion to allow, Nick to approach, the Scott County Community Foundation for a grant for buying some equipment, so.
I'll make the motion to allow Nick to go beg money for ambulances.
Craig,
I'll second.
I'll make that unanimous.
So, or just so Jennifer can have a copy.
What else you got?
Oh, it's so close. I emailed all three of you on this. This is just information, and I was wondering if I could invite the lady here next meeting for this,
Yes.
or if you're interested in it.
And I will say this, and I've asked Nick about this, and to let everybody know what this is that evidently PHI Air Medical, has sent an email, I think he sent it to everybody, but, to where at the cost of the county, and I think the number is $55,000, $66,682. If the county would pay $66,682 a year, for their services, that if anybody in Scott County was flown
A
out,
resident of Scott County.
or a resident of Scott County was flown out, that, whatever their insurance paid for the air ride, they would owe no more money after their insurance either paid it or didn't pay it.
It's,
We would actually be helping all of our citizens, by doing this. It's kind of a contract with this particular helicopter service. And I will say this, cause I know some people that's actually had to file bankruptcy before because they got flown out being sick or in a wreck or something. And, the bill comes back $25,000 and something, and they're sitting there going like this with their hand out, waiting for them to get paid, so.
Well, I gotta, go ahead.
And I will say this, cause I've already asked Nick this afternoon, how many times we have flown people out of Scott County, and the number's around 100 times last year. So if you're figuring 100 times last year, at about $25,000 or $35,000 for each flight, that's a lot of money. So
I've gotta ask this question. 3 years ago, I had a heart attack. They flew me from Scottsburg to Norton's. It was $48,000 for the flight. My insurance actually came back at 56 some thousand or something like that. By the time it was done, my insurance paid $48,000, and the helicopter service, they just took the rest off and said, don't worry about the rest. And I guess that's because I had the insurance, but, so my question is, are they not doing that now without us paying the $66,682?
you probably didn't have county insurance or Medicare or Medicaid. You probably had a private co-paid insurance, right?
I did, that's why I'm asking.
I would venture to say that less than 10% of this county has private co-pay insurance.
So that's where it's gonna benefit.
Yeah.
yes,
It's gonna benefit.
That's what I gotta ask.
It's gonna benefit the other, this is a complete number off the top of my head. 80% of the people that don't have Blue Cross Blue Shield of Rhode Island or something like that with a private copay insurance, yes. It'll benefit every 200 and something odd insurance people that you have for your county employees. It'll benefit the other 22,000 people in the county. Yeah.
so I'm not.
Because I mean, I can tell you when I was in high school, when I was in high school, I broke my neck, and this was years ago, and I got flown. And we had good insurance, and my parents' side of the bill was still $12,000. So the fact that your insurance, paid $48,000 on a helicopter ride, as a employee of the county, I would like you guys to venture into getting that insurance for your people, because that's pretty awesome,
Well,
because that's unheard of. That or you met your deductible prior.
I just wanted Nick to bring this and us talk about it, but we're gonna table it, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't wanna sit here and, this is something that, I can bring that lady in to talk to you, so it's not me. This benefits me as a service, zero. This benefits
Right, I get
your
that.
20-something thousand people in this county is who it benefits. As far as the service, it's indifferent, because we're not gonna operate any differently, whether you do it or you don't. But you wanna talk about return on investment, if I'm flying 100 people a year and that's the cost of 2 helicopter rides,
yeah,
I'd say 99% return on investment's pretty good.
2 rides paid for it.
Well, from what I'm seeing, that's less than 2 rides.
Yeah.
If you do with it what you will, like I said, it's
That's
not,
one ride, you
it's
can
not
stop
for-
at Henryville.
it's not for Scott County EMS, it's not for,
I got
Well,
that, I
actually, it's
just
the
wanna
first
make sure.
time, it's the first, we've always had like an MOU with Air Method or
we have
Staff
a,
Flight or something.
we used to
before.
have a first call agreement, but
But it was never, and I've actually bought insurance through, not these people, but another insurance company,
competitor.
because they would pay for, but it's pretty pricey, it's like $90 a month, to have insurance in case you're flown, they pay for it all. But, the risk versus the cost is, kinda high, but this is the first time I've ever seen a air ambulance service throw out a number and say, here's what we're going to do. And roughly it says here,
$7 a person, I think.
it's 9,526 households, and it's $7 per household. So for each home in Scott County, they're paying $7 for each home for this service, so, so think about it,
Yeah,
it's
I didn't want,
something we wanna bring back and
I would just like
talk about it.
to see if you want me to schedule her to be here for the next meeting.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, I think so, I mean, I
Sounds like
like
it's
it,
something we need to talk about.
yeah, we need to think about it, and talk about it, so.
Alright.
Thanks.
Sorry for the delay there.
I still got state insurance. No, I just wanted, some people do. I had, no, lost that. No. I know a lot of folks retire still. Yeah. Still buying. I can get back into it.
Okay. What do you got?
We got, first of all, we got the jail report. And I've got to, take my hat off and give great accolades to Mr. Doug Harrell. 4th year in a row we've passed this, at a humongous savings to the taxpayers of Scott County. I hope we're taking advantage of that. I don't know how it's done, you know what I'm saying, but, make sure they know that whenever you bid the insurance that we do have that. So, and, I gave that to Jennifer at the council meeting, and they've got their copies, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, so you-
They would give me
Good job,
copies.
Doug.
Yeah.
Good job, Doug, thank you.
And then it says the F-apart generator.
This was given to me by Eric, and I don't know if you gave it to him or if it came through Josh's, but it is a, maintenance agreement. It's a generator plan maintenance agreement for semi-annual services.
Yeah, and that actually belongs to the commissioners, so, but Josh
Okay.
was taking care of that.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say,
This is something we have
it
to.
just said Sheriff's County, or Scott County Sheriff's Office / jail, and it was attention Josh, so I don't know if you're aware of it, or,
Yeah, let me ask you a question about that too, is that
You want
I think Josh was present.
it's not been signed.
No, it's
That's
not
what we wanna kinda look at to see if
think it's a renewal. isn't
It is.
That's what I'm understanding, it's
It's the
renewable.
same company we did
Yeah.
before.
So,
Slide
my
this
only,
down.
my only question is on it is that, I know Josh used to be with them when they did it. To make sure, it was- you know what I'm saying, they just didn't walk up and put a new sticker on it. So all the thing I asked is make sure that whoever the new folk is, make sure they realize they need to be with them.
Is it the same price or increased price for the rent?
I don't know.
We'd have to go back and look
It's
at
a-
the old one.
It's a relatively small.
And that may be for all the generators, isn't it?
Well, I think he tacked them all on, this one out here, that one,
It was like
I
three or
think
four.
there's a
Yeah.
list there.
there's actually.
And according to Josh, he thought it was similar to what had been before, but I don't have the actual numbers.
Yeah,
I
there's
think
one
it's the
at
same thing.
the
really.
jail, the courthouse, and 911,
Yeah.
so. I think it's the same thing we've always done, now the price may have changed. So, $47.90, so. And it looks like it says, will perform 2 visits annually, 1 inspection, 1 full service at 6-month intervals. So, the price includes a 4-hour load bank test, both oil and coolant analysis. Oil and coolant analysis is also included in the service for both units, so.
Let me ask you a question too on that. Like, does it say in there like that they will respond on emergency situations? Because usually what happens is that the storms knock out the electric on
Says
Friday
here,
night at midnight, and then we have to wait till Tuesday to get them to come and work on the
it
generator.
says here, emergencies cannot be predicted, but a fast response plan is critical part of the responsibility to you, thanks in part to our extensive service. We are on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our prepaid preventive maintenance customers receive a 10% discount on labor should we have additional labor or repairs, so yeah, they're 24 hours. Doesn't say when they're gonna be here, but I mean, if this is so did you receive this, you said?
Eric brought it to me.
Okay, alright, we'll get with them.
I wasn't sure if it had come from you or from the computer.
Yeah, no, it's
I don't
actually,
know.
it's no big deal,
I was
so.
gonna say.
It's our generator, I think, the one that they're talking about, there should be 2 or 3 of them, I think.
Actually, this is a new quote, or it looks like a new quote, it says, it was signed 4/4/23 and it expires in 90 days, so, yeah, we probably need to get a hold of them and determine, I
Where
think.
are they out of, Indy?
It says Indianapolis Colts, so, looks like they got Evansville, Louisville. They got a place on Blankenbaker Road in Louisville, and they got one in Indianapolis, so.
They've done a good job, because that was always a battle before, just to find somebody to come and service those daggone generators, and since they've taken over, they've.
It's all 502 numbers, so it's all available, so. I think, we'll, get with Eric and just find out when they're coming, and I guess I'll let you read this and see. If it's a renewal, and it is, I remember Josh bringing them in before, so. Alright, what else you got?
That's all I had, it was on here part-time employee hours, I don't know.
That was a mistake on my part. I thought that was through the attorney. so-
Yeah, that's no problem, so.
Sorry. That was my mistake.
And then the Empower Fund corrections, is that for us? 'Cause that
Well,
was
that's
our employee
everybody.
had-
It's,
okay.
well, you've got a special situation. As far as I know, that is still being taken care of.
Mhm.
And again, like I had told her, I can't go into each,
I think this has more to do with
the overall.
basically what we may need to expend in order to dedicate some man hours
Yeah,
to.
it's not the actual thing.
It's not the situation you have, the one that you have, and like I said, I think it's taken care of. My thing is, I cannot go into each employee, I couldn't go into each person and find out what they're doing, they have to do that on their own. I can only look at the plan, but we've got people with the plan working with your person, and I think they're getting it solved.
Okay, good deal, that's why I just make sure it wasn't, because it was right under me, so I knew they've been doing some stuff with this, so
Yeah, no,
that's all I got.
Alright,
So would Doug be available to, you could share some workforce with this chip seal potential?
He's got experience, doesn't he?
I retired from that 19 years ago.
Or side mount, hey,
I retired 19 years ago.
once you've been educated, you're always
I
educated.
remember that, yes.
You probably don't have
Time for a
it,
good tan.
you don't have that, tan anymore either, do you?
I retired to come to this.
Probably.
That sun don't shine too bright through the walls, I tell you that.
Alright, see you guys. Thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you.
See ya. Dana Bracy,
Yeah, it
Courtyard
was a
permit.
courtyard permit for the National Day of Prayer.
Isn't that what we already did? Oh, no, that's the.
We have
no,
not signed, or I have not found a copy of that. That was
It's
just brought
fine.
in the other day.
So,
Yeah, she brought it in and we put it on. I think they're gonna use.
so anyway, I think this is an annual permit that they asked, Grace Christian Academy, to have a National Day of Prayer ceremony Thursday, May the 4th, from 11 to 12:30. It, looks like the description of the event is praise music gathering of people to pray together, so I'll entertain a motion. They have their insurance liability here, so I'll entertain a motion to allow them to use the courtyard on May the 4th.
I'll make that motion.
Randy makes the motion, Greg
I'll second.
seconds, and I'll make that unanimous, so. And this is 4/26, 2030. On there, sir. Empowered fund corrections, is that all you said you were gonna say, or is
Well,
there more
I've just
to
got
it?
a few things. I wanted to run it by you guys. They offered, they can do our corrections, which, what they'll do is we've got two funds. There's the, 401 that is the county, distribution, what the county gives, the matching percent. And then there's the 457 is what the employees put into. If I understood them correctly, we would not necessarily have to adjust the county portion of the funds, the matching funds, because that's kind of a gift from the county anyway. So if they lost earnings on that, it's not something I think that you're required to do, but I think it would be a nice thing to do. You know what I'm saying? It would be
How
one of
much
those
money
things.
are we talking?
I have no idea. And the worst part is they're gonna charge us $75 an hour to do the correction, which when I first spoke to her, I thought that was $75 a person at 168 people, but she said, no, she said it'll be a few hours. She goes, I can't really tell you, it'll be a few hours per plan. So it'll be a few hours for the 401 plan and a few hours for the 457 plan. And then what we'll be responsible for is the $75 per hour to get the corrections made. And then we will be responsible for however much money they lost in this period of time from November 1st until these corrections were made. And the November 1st ones, I mean, depending on what the interest rates are, will be, because they were outside of the system the longest. All the money has been transferred as of March 23rd. So all the funds are finally caught up. They're finally where they need to be. But we'll need to go back and, like, you'd have to look at each person, what they're invested in. This can be done through the Department of Labor, through us, but I absolutely do not feel comfortable. I don't have the manpower.
So we're talking $75, say, for each side of this, and
I don't know if she's looking at 10 hours. She acted like, and she said, I can't really even give you a number, but she said, it should just be a few hours, is what the email read.
a few hours might be 20.
Exactly, I understand. Well, at first, like I said, when I first read it, I thought it was 75 hours, $75 per person. And then I sent back and I said, is that for both plans or just one? She said, no, it's $75 per plan, not per participant. So that doesn't look better to me, I'll have to say.
So they don't have how do they think they're going to tell us how much people have lost or gained in a?
What they'll have to do is go look at each individual. They'll have to look at one plan or two, depending on what we make a decision on. They'll have to look at everything they're invested in. And then the date that money was taken out of their paycheck and the date it should have been invested over here.
So they're gonna take an average.
And that's why I'm saying, don't ask this girl, but I do not feel confident at all trying to figure that.
I mean, that's okay, but I think there should be a, not to proceed type number on there.
Well, and here's the deal though, I believe on the part that the employees have, the part that they put in, I think we're really required. I mean, I think, and this does work with the IRS, but we understand with Empower, the part that they have invested, that there was their money out of their paycheck, their portion of the contribution, that pretty much has to be corrected and sent. forward.
Well,
I'm only
you
talking
should be
about-
there anyway.
He's just talking about,
I'm
he's
talking
just talking
about,
about, you know, if they're
not
gonna,
to
if they say
exceed-
$75 an hour and they're gonna do 200 hours.
Yeah, that's
we don't
right, I
know
mean,
that.
can we say like not to
Give us-
exceed?
Yeah,
What they
we're
don't-
just gonna, yeah, we're, say, we'll only pay up to
Let's
this
just
amount.
open-ended check.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's right, it made me nervous too, to think, how do you do that, I don't know.
Well, my whole thing here, and
I
I said this
think you
from the
could do it in
beginning.
tranches, basically, where you say, at this amount, you gotta, we need to know where you're at, and then at this, you know,
Yeah,
Okay. And I can negotiate with them, I just
Well,
wanna
just
kinda
tell 'em
talk
how-
to you and
you
say,
know-
how do we want to do this?
I would do this, and I would tell them that, you know, a normal day is 8 hours. I'd tell them, when you get to 8 hours, tell us how far you're through the employees,
Okay,
and then we'll know, do we give another 8 hours to get through the rest of the employees or something? Because if, like I said, they may think, oh, it's just a few hours may be 50 hours of them, and a few hours of me is like 4 or 5.
What's their definition of you
You know, if I was gonna tell somebody I was gonna mow 100 acres, I'll just tell them it'd take a couple hours and pay them by the hour, but I'll lose my rear end.
I agree.
But, so anyway, the other part of
8
this,
hours and-
the other part of this is that I believe, and I'm not, and I hate to say this, cause I never like to admit that we're, you know, county government's at fault, but I will say this. Somebody, I mean, I'm not putting the blame on anybody, but something happened where this happened and we need to fix it.
right,
And it's gonna cost the county to fix it, and and that's just a sad thing. So, you know, I think we need to make our employees whole and fix them, you know, their investments, good or bad, cause, you know, I'm gonna tell you, in the last, from the time that this started to the time,
actually,
we
had
may
this
be in
maybe
a
been
better-
a few months earlier, they would have been better off
Yeah, we
if
may-
we just given them the money and walked off
We
and
may-
not done any, yeah.
we may be in a better shape because the economy kinda tanked when this was all going on, the interest rates and everything else, stock market kinda fell off. So, you know, I know what my stocks did, so I know if other people had money invested in the stock market, and that's where most of this money is, you know, invested, we're not probably gonna be that big of a payout back to make them all whole, so, but on the flip of that, I don't wanna be sued by 200 employees either, so, so I would rather make it, and we've said this from the get-go, I mean, I don't want anybody to think we've ever hit anything here.
Right.
We let people know right up front, this
As
didn't
soon as we
happen.
found out there was a mistake, I mean, it took a little while with me getting here, I didn't really realize
I
what was
get that.
going on.
But I'm just saying that, once we knew that it was going on, we were backtracking and trying to get all the people that knew how to, you know, fix it, and the people that should have been, in my opinion, alerting us more than saying, hey, this is going. But the money's all where it's supposed to go, the only issue is gonna be is how much somebody would have made off their investments and how many, and some of them are gonna lose, I mean, so it's gonna average out, but I think, I think every employee that uses that system and invested their money there, I think we need to fix it, so, and it's gonna cost us, so.
So with this, I mean, I've got two forms, and we can table this, I'll talk to them again to make sure, to find out like roughly what they think the hours will be, cause, you know, I've kind of pushed it that a little bit. She's not been very forthcoming with the hours, but say, you know, can we just say it's not gonna be more than 20 or something like
Yeah,
that
there needs to be
possibly?
a number there.
Do
Yeah,
you,
but she understands the number of employees we have, so.
I'm thinking they know the number of employees, they should have a much better idea than we will on what
Yeah.
that is. But do you want to do both the 401 and the 457?
Yes.
I think we do.
Yeah,
Okay, that was kind of my biggest question.
I agree with Mike and Greg, I mean, just, we let them know up front, you know, you're approved for 8 hours, and then at that point, you can come back
Yeah. Yeah.
if you
Well,
want more, 'cause
Of course, they
I'm
kinda
gonna
have
tell you
this-
that you need to tell them, after 8 hours, you need to tell us how many more you think you're gonna need. I think we ought to be good with
16, say 2 days,
Mhm.
and say you have the authority to tell her to go on for 8 more hours or whatever, I mean, so you don't have to wait till the next meeting to,
Right.
Well,
They
as
stop
long as we put a cap on it,
Yeah.
I don't wanna be hit with no 30 grand
no, I don't either,
and not know it,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't either, so.
Well, and like I said, it's the 75, but now I don't know what it's gonna look like to pay the interest that should have been paid. That's the number
We're not
that
gonna
might
know
be.
that till it's over.
Yeah, exactly.
So 75 at
Well, no, but we're just talking about hours.
No, right, this is just the
Yeah.
hours, yes.
2 days, that's, if I say 100.
Whatever the other is, we owe.
Well, 75.
It is what it
would be-
is.
That's for 8 hours, so
I don't know how to get out of it,
You'd be lucky
it'll be a couple of days,
so I'm thinking,
I think so.
so. I say not to exceed 20,
not to exceed 20
what do you
hours.
think?
Yes,
Yeah,
for me, cause I,
I think it's gotta be
Take
fixed.
that.
That's 20,
Okay,
it'll at least take.
I think it's gotta be fixed, so yes.
so not to exceed
Well,
20
I guess,
hours.
and my fear is, I mean, if we sit there and say, well, not 20 hours, and they said, forget it, I think, well, where are we gonna go from there, cause I'm not doing that.
Well, let them tell you what,
I'm not doing that.
how many hours they think their estimate is, and then, cause we may, like you said, we may be way off board, so. Alright, what else you got? Is that it?
Okay, our next is that WOW software, and this one will need to be tabled. I just kinda brought it, cause we are asking for ARPA dollars on that too, and that's replacing the tax software. I sent this, proposal email to you guys. I'd rather not put the numbers out there yet, because Andrew thinks that there's some equipment that we can still share, and that he's gonna do some negotiating with them and see if we can bring that down some.
So is this,
This is that tax software that I wanted to look at.
I have to, one of the reasons we'll have to table it is I'll have to review
that fits
whether or
the-
not it's a services contract, because it seems to be that there's pieces of it that are,
There's difference,
and
yeah.
whether or not it's a
viable?
materials purchasing or equipment contract, those have different requirements. And then, depending on what it is, I mean, this may have to be a situation where it's closed bid situation, or they would need to demonstrate that they have an existing agreement with the state to offer prices at a set value, at that
Well,
amount.
we were questioning with the cost of that, how that would have to be bid, or if it would be quotes, if it had to be
I
sealed
mean, I think
bids.
we're
and-
talking about a large enough number where in normal circumstances, we would do closed bids.
Okay,
Now that kind of changes when you're talking about a services contract rather than a public works or a build project or a purchase of materials or equipment. Those are different, but there kind of seems to be two pieces to it, so.
It might save you a little bit of work if you wait till after Wednesday and talk to Andrew.
Yeah,
Because the numbers are gonna change and it might save.
yeah. We're hoping,
So, is this the software you talked about before?
yes it is. And I mean, that number was a little higher than I expected, and I know when you're talking about the bids, I'm not sure
Scared
what
me.
is it. Yeah, me too, I was like, oh, that's not what I expected to see there. What I was thinking about it, I hate to say, there's been another company that's contacted me since then, but I'll have to say Jefferson County switched that, and they're like, oh my God, that's the
Washington
biggest
County's
mistake.
got it too, I believe.
They have this one, yes.
Oh, you're
Jefferson
talking
County
Jefferson
went to
County.
the second new one, and like they said, their commissioners, their council is not gonna afford to pay another one, but they are sick, because they went from one that we're currently using.
So they
to
don't
the-
like
Oh, they
what
hate
they
their
got.
new one, they
Like-
hate their new one,
They've
so,
already come and looked at, yeah.
I'm gonna say this,
yeah.
and then correct me if I'm wrong. But from my understanding is the state used to use the software and stuff that we have now, and over the years, they have dumped it. And
I don't know that,
Weird.
but I think that might be true.
And the software that we're using now, there's basically hardly any service for it
Yes.
anymore, because
Yeah,
like out of the 92 counties in Indiana, 90% of them went with this other software program. And, the one we have is just not.
It's obsolete.
And I
Yeah,
can,
it's going obsolete.
It
It's going
is.
obsolete,
Yeah.
long story short.
So is their service.
Yeah, so is the service.
Yes.
and I can send you, I didn't think about it until before the meeting. This software company actually sent me a map, and it's color coordinated to show you how many counties, they're in 66 different counties in different areas, one way or the other. They're color coordinated to show you if they're both the finance and tax side, simply tax, or simply finance. They'll show you by color how that is, but, and I will say, you know, we're already using for our finance side, and they are amazing.
Okay, well,
So the software company that we have now, got like 3 employees left, and they're playing paddleball every day.
And you're
Just
exactly right, there's
they
three, I
just
can name
cannot
3
be
of them, there's
bothered
3 of them,
with
and
problems.
honestly, we're beginning to worry, because we've got calls into one of those 3 in the last 2 weeks, and we've not heard anything, so we don't know if we're down to 2, we're a little scared here. And trust me, we've got settlement coming, this old girl is nervous.
alright, well,
So,
we'll wait for Andrew next week maybe to have something for us, so. We're gonna table that till the next meeting, so. Consideration of transfer station, Sasko bag fees and services.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was supposed to,
You're good.
I'm sorry.
I'm just so glad to hear somebody else say that instead of me all the time.
This is on-
I told him I was gonna do something today, and I just forgot.
You're alright. I think I got my answer. You can look at it and make sure I'm right on the back, the last page of that.
Yeah.
Alright, what we're looking at here is, we talked about at the last meeting about, creating an ordinance to, 2 different ordinances. One, to increase the Sasko bag, fees, and also another ordinance to increase the fees at the transfer station.
I think the others are okay.
And because this is an ordinance, and actually because and I'm gonna intentionally do this tonight, we can actually approve this on 1 reading if all of us unanimously approve, but I am going to be a nay vote tonight, just so that we have, 3 readings, so that we give the public
I
enough.
think that that's a good idea, because we would have to have a public hearing to make the changes that have been proposed, and I don't think it looks like we have much public here, so I think.
Yeah, that's the intent. I don't wanna do anything, cause we've been accused already of, doing things without public knowing about it. I wanna make sure, and I will vote no, but you guys,
So let's run, well, you can approve it on the first reading, unanimous, right? We just wanna approve it on a second reading. We'll ask, to run something in the paper noticing a public hearing on the ordinances, for the next commissioners meeting.
which that's a short meeting, that's next week, so I'd like to do it on the
Okay,
third
then
meeting.
let's do it on the
Yeah,
meeting.
I can't get anything in the paper before,
So let's do,
Works perfectly, so
Okay.
we'll
It
just, we'll roll it to the
it'd be,
second meeting of,
it'd be the 10th, or actually the 17th.
17th, yeah.
So I want the public to be more, attendance and complaining or not complaining, or understanding that we're not trying to shove something down somebody's throat, and that we are trying to keep the landfill open, and this is one of the solutions we're coming up with, so. I'm gonna read the Sasko bag ordinance first, and then we can,
they're fairly simple and to the point,
Yeah, they
because
are.
we're really just adopting fee schedules, but.
yeah, there's already ordinance about the Sasko bags and the sticker fees, we're just
amending the fees, so, and do we have an ordinance number on these?
Oh, this will be the second ordinance of the year, the first one was the county road.
So this will be, 2 and 3 respectively.
So Sasko bags, we're gonna make two, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the transfer station fees will be 3. Alright, so ordinance number 2 is the Board of Commissioners of the State of Indiana, an ordinance amending the Scott County Sasko bag and sticker fee schedule for Scott County, Indiana. Whereas the Scott County, the county is a government body according to IC Code 5-22-2-13. Whereas the Board of Commissioners of the county desires to amend the fee schedule for the Sasko bags and the sticker prices. And whereas the fee schedule increases certain fees, taking into account the following costs of the county to maintain the program: B, the performance of the services rendered by the program, and C, the cost associated with the performance of the county's obligations under the program. Now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Commissioners of Scott County, Indiana, the fee schedule for Sasko bags and stickers shall be increased to $1 and I guess $1.50.
Actually, I need to change that. It should be $1.50. I'll make that change for the second reading.
That's fine. For $1.50, the fee increase is solely to account for ongoing costs of operation of the program and not for the purpose of generating any revenue. This ordinance is in effect upon the passage, signing, and recording of the presiding officers. So I'll entertain a motion to, on ordinance number 2 to increase the Sasko bags from 75 cents to $1.50. So
I'll make that motion.
Randy makes a motion to
Approve it on the first reading.
no, we can still have, because we have to have a public hearing.
We'll have a public hearing on the second reading.
Okay, alright, so Randy makes a motion to accept the ordinance number 2, Greg.
I'll second.
Greg seconds that, and I guess I'll make that unanimous, so as long as we have a open hearing where everybody can talk.
And again, any proposed increase is really not to, right, it's not for the purpose of trying to make money at the transfer station, it's to break even.
Not even break even, we're just trying to not eat a hole in our pocket. Alright, on the second one, the ordinance number 3, I need that too. Oh, I got it. Ordinance number 3 of the Board of Commissioners of Scott County, Indiana, the ordinance amending the Scott County Transfer Station fee schedule for Scott County, Indiana. Whereas Scott County, the county, is a governmental body according to IC Code 5-22-2-13. Whereas pursuant to the Indiana Code 13-20, and according to established rules, regulation, permits created by the Indiana Department of Environmental Management, a county operates a municipal waste station, transfer station here in after Scott County Transfer Station. And whereas the Board of Commissioners of the county desires to amend the fee schedule for certain material collected by the transfer station of the county. Whereas the fee schedule increased certain fees taking into account the following: A, the cost of the county to maintain the Scott County Transfer Station permit; B, the permit or the performance of services rendered by the Scott County Transfer Station; and C, the costs associated with the performance of the county permit obligation. Now therefore be ordained by the Scott County Commissioners of Scott County, Indiana, the fee schedule for the disposal of Scott County Transfer Station shall be charged according to the attached fee schedule incorporated herein by reference as Exhibit A. And number 2, the fee increase is solely to account for ongoing costs of operation of the Scott County Transfer Station, not for purpose of generating any revenue. This ordinance is in effect upon the passage, sign, and recording of the presiding officer. I'm gonna go ahead and read the Exhibit A. Exhibit A is the cost of a compact pickup truck is $25. Cost of a compact pickup truck, I guess, let me back up. The cost of a compact truck with debris that is below the bed is $25. The compact truck with debris above the bed is $40. A full-size pickup with debris that is not above the top of the bed is $35. A full-size pickup with debris above the top of the bed is $55. A 7x10 foot dump trailer is $50. A 7x14 foot dump trailer is $75. A 7x16 dump trailer is $90. A 7x20 dump trailer is $100. A single axle dump truck up to 1.5 tons is $70. A single axle dump truck up to 2 tons is $125, and barrels are $15. So I will entertain a motion to accept the contract fees for the transfer station.
No, we're gonna table it or we're gonna,
Just approval on the first reading, we'll do
Okay.
a public hearing,
okay,
on the fee change for the transfer station as well.
I'll make the motion.
Randy makes a motion to accept ordinance number 3, increasing the Scott County Transfer Station fee schedule. Greg?
I'll second.
Greg seconds that, and I'll make that unanimous.
And when we bring this up the next time, we need to make sure that we approve of the sign, the 2 signs,
And we can
in
do that
purchase.
as separate, fees once you
Yeah,
approve the change for the fee schedule.
I wanna say it was like $750
It was-
installed, but I can't
I thought
remember.
it was 700 sign. That's what you told me.
Was it?
Yeah, 14 for both of them. Consideration of the payroll for April 7th.
Hey, guys, we skipped back there, the sealed bid for the courtyard sidewalks.
It's not on mine.
Oh, it's not on, it is
But
on.
I'm gonna bring it up here in a second.
Okay, it's in front of you.
Alright, consideration of payroll for April 7th and the 21st. Has everybody had an opportunity to look at the payroll? Randy?
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the payroll for the 7th and the 21st.
I'll make that motion.
Greg?
I'll second.
Greg seconds that motion, I'll make that unanimous, so we have the payroll vote.
There's 2 places to sign, guys. We missed that
While
last
we're
time.
doing that, consideration of special invoices.
I have those 2 here, hang on. One's our property tax bill, and the other one's Indiana testing.
It was an invoice that got skipped. And it needs to be paid.
As for what now?
The drug testing,
Oh, I
Indiana
saw
drug
that,
testing,
I've
yeah.
never seen that.
It
So
got-
you sent, yeah.
I emailed it to Mandy instead of handing it to her and it didn't get where it needed to be.
Okay,
That was my fault.
well, that's, you get one a year.
Okay, that's it. I've only got 6 months to go.
I got news for you. It's longer than 6
Oh,
months.
yeah, no, it's 8
I
months.
think you just hit 2.
Yeah.
And while we're signing things, let's go ahead and read these, we'll do these together. There's 2, special invoices here. And one is for the taxes for, spring and fall for the Just Party, or the property that we own for $1,366.58. And the other one is for, looks like, 2 drug tests. But I'm gonna ask you a question, why does it say Jim O'Neill Ford?
I have no idea.
So, but anyway, it's for 2 drug tests, looks like one was on 310 and one was on 47.
It's
so-
for 2 invoices, there's more than 1 drug test.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
One was for $38, that one was for $114. And it looks like, so
3.
anyway, there's, yeah, it looks like 3 on one, and, so anyway, we got 2 special invoices here, one for $152 and one for $1366.58 for our taxes. So I'll entertain a motion to, pay these 2 invoices.
I'll make a motion.
Randy makes a motion to pay, $152 for 4 drug screens and $1366.58 for our taxes for the spring and fall. Greg?
I'll second.
Greg seconds that, I'll make that unanimous, so usually I have a place to sign on here, do I, or not, or just sign at the bottom?
Yeah.
I'm gonna begin.
Alright, everybody had an opportunity to look at the minutes for 2/15/23.
Did I send those out a second time? Cause I'd taken those off too. I don't know how we got them.
We can
mixed up
table
on.
it till the next meeting. So we're gonna table the consideration of the minutes for Board of Commissioners meeting 2/15/23, so everybody go with that?
Yes.
Alright. We have a bid here, and I'm gonna make a motion to amend the agenda, cause on my agenda it doesn't have it. So, I'm gonna entertain a motion to amend the agenda to open the bid for sidewalk concrete.
I'll make that motion.
Greg makes a motion to amend the minutes to add the sidewalk, Greg.
I'll second.
Greg seconds, I'll make it unanimous, so looks like we've only got one bid, so. Man, that thing's sharp.
Yes, don't lose that. I lost my good ones in the last bid opening.
So this looks like it's from All Star Paving, which is out of Seymour. And
There was only one bid submission?
yeah,
I thought
that's all that they had.
Applegate was gonna turn it on.
Well, that's what I was thinking too.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, do we, if we're not gonna accept this, do we need to acknowledge it?
You will need to read the bid, who it's from and the amount, and then if the decision of the board would be to reject all bids, you would just reject all bids.
Okay, I'll do that. This bid is from All Star Paving from Seymour, Indiana. It looks like, and I'm gonna read what the scope of work is and what they bid here. So the scope of work consists of removing the curb, remove 6-inch by 95-inch section of sidewalk from the southeast corner of the courtyard, remove the soil and deliver to the county highway or property near Trihawk, install compact rock to a depth of 6.5 inches, install vapor barrier, install welded wire 2-inch from top of 5.5-inch concrete sidewalk welded wire, minimum size 4x4 by 1.4 by 1.4, install rebar in curb, install or repair additional 4-foot by 6-foot section of entrance sidewalk on the east side of courtyard or courthouse, install total of 15 ADA compliant ramps, 11 ramps at 4 foot wide, 3 ramps at 8 foot wide, 1 ramp at 10 foot wide, also to be used for a vehicle access. Concrete depth should be 8 inches with rebar without ramp throughout the ramp area. The price was $256,335, so. With that, I'll entertain a motion to reject the bid.
I'll make that motion.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
All bids.
Pretty quick.
Alright, Randy made a motion to reject all bids. Greg?
I'll second.
Greg seconds that, and I'll make that unanimous, so. Here, you can hold on that for a souvenir. So,
It was a nice work scope though, wasn't it?
it was,
I did a good job on that.
I don't know, maybe we need to back off on it a little bit and come up with something a little.
Well, I think previously we talked about, we at least sent a resolution request and a request for appropriation for ARPA for that, but we were talking, if I remember right, it was like 40,000.
That's what I thought.
Mhm.
So maybe that guy's got a different job now. So, anyway, that's all that's on the agenda. Greg, you got anything you wanna bring up, talk about?
No, I just, got to see our friend, Diego yesterday, so he says hello to everybody, so. Got to see him, he was in his office at the Capitol yesterday. So that's it.
For people who don't know, Diego is the Secretary of State.
He's our Secretary of State.
So, and from Sellersburg, Indiana. So, Randy, you got anything?
Nope.
Well, I wanna throw something out here, and I'm just
I knew it.
it's an easy one. Probably something you would approve. We haven't done it for about 5 years, and I know we got a meeting next week, so I'm gonna throw it out here. Maybe we'll put it on the agenda next week, talk about it a little bit more in depth, but I like to see about rebidding or seeing about rebidding our insurance for property. I don't know if that's we usually do it every 5 years. It's been 5 years since we have done that.
Yes, I did wanna do that.
So, and I know that process, cause I know you brought it up last fall. That process takes like 6 months or a lot. It takes 3 or 4 months for everybody to get all the information and then do their homework and stuff to bring it back to us, so, just think about it. I don't know if we wanna do it, if we don't wanna do it. I know sometimes if we don't bid that stuff out enough, then we may be shooting ourselves in the foot. The other part, speaking of that, we need to talk about at our next meeting about the contract negotiation with our transfer guy, with our guy that does our Sasco bag satellite things, whether we wanna rebid that. I don't know if there's anybody out there that will do it any cheaper than he's done it, but we need to get with him and renegotiate that contract as well, and that's got to do with, the Sasco's bag side of recycle and the other parts, so.
Actually, there's an Aaron Bell that works with Sears
I know
or
Aaron.
something. He was having eye surgery, I think, today, but he may, depending on how things, he may be at the next meeting.
Well, he was the
mentioned
one
that
that
kind
said he was gonna set that up to try to help us, with that.
I've only talked to him a couple of times, but he does seem very interested in helping Scott County kind of alleviate some of our problems with.
Also, with that, I'm gonna ask you this question: did we take care of the permit for the landfill?
I haven't heard any more about it since the last meeting, so I don't know what, I know there was a call to Jason Applegate, and I don't know what went on from there. I still have the file on my desk.
Well, there was a deadline that we needed to, and I know, Zach, you talked to somebody in Indianapolis,
I did.
so where I know it's not on you, but I mean, I'm just saying, what was the conversation?
We cannot let that expire, so
The
what we gotta do is
clarification
get
was
this done.
that the submitted materials, have a different date on there. Like, we've done multiple iterations of the safety plan, right? Whatever was submitted in the packet, was an iteration of that safety plan that was from years before. And there was, like, they looked at it and said, well, you all updated your plan like last year or the year before. Why are you submitting a plan that
It was years ago.
was years ago? Okay,
So the
that
dates are
was
messed up.
point one. Point two was they changed their fee, amount for the permit renewal application. We didn't know if we had submitted the old fee, and they didn't accept it, and we just need to pay the difference, or if we need to submit the entire fee. So we probably need to figure that out.
I think what's happened on that part is the old fee was submitted, we needed to pay the difference
Okay.
on that
We-
one, so I
And I
think that
don't know
was.
if they like rejected the check.
They might have, no, that I'm not
So
aware of.
that's kind of
Well,
that
we
was
need-
my only question.
So we need to find out if the check has been kicked back and we owe what was it, 3,700?
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's, instead of the 2,500, I think it was 37, or maybe it was,
I think it had been
But
35.
all
I
the
think it was
information's pretty straightforward on the
37.80.
packet that they sent, and
we just need to change the date.
We just need to pay the amount, and we need to make sure that the packet we submitted, which we can review in their portal,
Okay,
which that, notice that they sent out allows us to review in their portal, basically.
Can we edit it in their portal?
Yes, so we can just change the
The date.
document and to make sure that it's the most up-to-date version of the safety plan.
Question.
So I think it just had the wrong date.
Okay. Can we make that happen, Jennifer?
I will do my best. If not, I'll call you guys and
That'd
say,
be fun.
Okay.
answer your emails if you catch one, cause it could be serious. It could
Well,
be
to speak
serious.
of that,
The
talk about
person I
emails.
spoke to was fairly new to this as well, so.
I may have spoken to her, yeah.
Speaking of that, there was an email that I forwarded to Zach, and I think we're gonna forward to Jennifer.
Relative to annual reporting for.
Of the
ARPA.
ARPA, yeah. So anyway, before this meeting, I actually called the lady that had sent the email, because Jennifer's saying that she has went in there into the site, but it won't allow her to pull up Scott County, and what it might be is that Tammy started that, and it may have Tammy's profile, so when Jennifer goes in there, it's not
not
recognizing her as the profile, so it's not allowing her to pull up Scott County, so if I get that phone call tomorrow, and if I don't get that phone call tomorrow, I'll call the other guy and say, hey,
And like I said, I've sent emails hopefully by tomorrow.
yeah, so anyway, that's the only thing I've got, so. So if anybody else doesn't have anything, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Randy makes a motion to adjourn, Greg
I'll second.
seconds, and I'll make that unanimous, so kill the bird.